Hello and welcome to the second episode of Seven Story Podcast. In this trifecta, the second author we have is Maggie. And you know what? I'll let Maggie introduce herself because I feel like she can do herself justice. You know, go ahead, Maggie, take it away.
I'm Maggie Hoopis. My favorite food is an artichoke. What are the other icebreakers that you normally do? Um, I write Western romances.
Really? Okay. I mean, I haven't heard of Westerns in a while. Like that's
I know.
Yeah, Westerns are just like faded out of the publishing world. Is like I don't
Yeah,
know, but I feel like but everything's making a comeback. Everything comes back eventually.
and even the cowboy romance isn't still quite what a Western was. Like, there's so many defining elements of a Western. I think that there's a lot to do with typically in a Western, there's an other situation. And an ethnicity tends to get taken away into that othering situation by the overall white man, which it's just not politically correct anymore, and it's just not right. So by putting it in romantasy, I could put like evil or magic into that role, and make that the thing that joined everybody together in humankind against.
Okay, I mean, yeah.
So I think the Western kind of died for a bit too when it turned into. I did like a whole paper on it in school. You can really see like the Western dying as the Middle Eastern tends to be othered a bit more. Like, and you see the rise of like in the 90s, especially 90s, early 2000s, of the wars in the Gulf. So like, and then studios were kind of othering. We saw a lot of Middle Eastern, a lot of Indian, a lot of just people being lumped together into one category that wasn't white and being othered by this situation.
Right.
So I think we've seen a little bit the Western kind of coming back with Yellowstone. But I'm kind of really excited to bring it back in a different way.
I mean, hey, like everything that dies, and comes back, it doesn't come back the same way it left. So, like
I don't know, some of this 90s fashion I'm seeing, it's pretty it's pretty much the same as it was.
Oh, really? Okay. I mean, I haven't read like, much Westerns or anything like that, but I used to see it growing up, like just sometimes you might see the odd Western here and there, but now it's just like a Western? I'm like, wow. Yeah. Brokeback Mountain, anyone? But
Yeah, right. I mean, I loved a good Western. I love Unforgiven. I love the way that Unforgiven just kind of takes apart some of the elements. It's a revisionist Western.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I love Lonesome Dove. Just classic.
Oh yeah, I was more of a Tombstone type of guy.
Oh, that was a fun one too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And I grew up watching, do you remember?
Like Gangs
Did
in
you
New
ever
York,
hear
just like
Briscoe County Jr.? They married Western with sci-fi. And it was Bruce Campbell.
I don't know. I didn't watch that many of them, so I might not remember that one.
It was in the 90s. At one point, they like brought like some of like the Cowboys on, like the Dallas Cowboys with Terry Bradshaw on for like a 2-part episode.
Right.
Oh, it was a hoot. There was time travel. There was.
Okay.
It worked.
That's funny. Like it's like Western is like this other, but it just so happens to work with anything else.
Yeah, it kind of does. I mean, it's the American spirit, you could argue in some ways.
Like that frontier, like going into new lands, like you put a cowboy up against an alien, it's like, all right, boys, lasso up, let's do it.
Oh, that was a great movie too, Cowboys versus Aliens.
Oh man. But anyway, so tell us a little bit about yourself, aside from your favorite food being an artichoke, because that'll be a whole debate. So like what's a day in the life like for you?
Yeah. I wake up, I take care of my littles, and then I fit in writing wherever I can.
Oh yeah.
Like it's different every day. So sometimes it's at nighttime, sometimes it's like early in the morning. It tends not to be early in the morning so much because I like to sleep in if I haven't slept through the night.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, and I just kind of go with it. I don't know.
Right.
Sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll be watching TV next to my husband, and I'll sit and I'll type, and he'll be like, "Is it cool if I watch anything I want?" I'm like, "Go for it."
Right.
Like the less interest I have in it, the better.
It's like finally some football.
Yeah, whatever you want.
All right. All right. So, all right. So, what inspired your first, novel? Like, what was the thing that got you into that? You know.
So, so my daughter actually asked me. She's very into space, and she asked me to tell her a story or write a story about the planets. And I said, "All right, give me a bit." And I just started picturing what would it be like if Pluto were really mad that he was kicked out of the solar system.
Mm.
And so my outline for all of Grace of Dragons is I literally have I drew out the solar system.
Right.
So Neptune is Grace, but like her two friends are both moons. Sal and Thalassa are moons of Neptune.
Right.
And then, it's her moving closer to the sun and Pluto kind of chasing her is the whole
Right.
allegory. There's a bit of a battle in the middle. That was like my Mars asteroid belt moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the love interest is the sun.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
his
did
name
you try to-
is Ignacio. And that actually has to do with of like fire or of the sun or something. I forget.
Got you. Got you. Okay. So the story was an allegory to the, orbital cycle of the planets.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And it just kind of like rolled into it. And I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm like, well, what haven't I seen? Like, what stories haven't been told? Like, is there a different way I could tell this story? And I liked the idea that, she's running west. She's running
Right.
towards the sun. And that's kind of like, and how would she get between the places? Well, obviously a dragon. So it just kind of went. And I really liked this idea of horses being dragons, but like the dragons being like elephants. And you know how elephants like just think humans are the cutest little things that they've ever seen in their
Right.
life. I liked that concept for a dragon, like a bit more toothless than
Right.
Fourth Wing. So
Okay. So like
yeah,
less of the conventional like dragons and more like okay.
they in the book they don't they're not big into. There's a line where it talks about they don't use their fire unless absolutely necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, like I mean I've heard of, I've seen Fourth Wing and
yeah.
is either Fourth Wing or Akatar,
Oh yeah.
And like I just see those all over, Instagram. Used to be on TikTok before it got banned, but still can't
Wow.
download it, but hey, it is what it is. And then, I just see those all over and I haven't read neither of them because I'm just like,
There's a lot of good romantasy going on right now. There's a lot
oh
of
yeah.
different. It's like just blowing up,
Yeah,
and
it is.
a lot of very strong female characters within romantasy.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, but like one thing I noticed, with a lot of the because a lot of authors kind of like, give sneak peeks into their books and
Mm.
most of them are romantasy. It's kind of like they have the same type of female character though. It's like I noticed a lack of variety.
All right.
It's like I have no problem with, female characters standing up for themselves, setting boundaries and, fighting for what they believe in.
Yeah.
But do they all have to be like that? Like, you can have a little variety, you know what I mean? Like, you can
Yeah,
have
I can totally see where you're coming from with that.
that, is feminine. You can have a female character that is kind of, nerdy. You can have a female character that's more like, intellectual. You can have a female character that's like a variety of things. Like they don't all have to be warrior types, like
Yeah, I think as you get more into some of the indies, you can see they're not all warriors.
right.
They're definitely not. I've read some that are like like Jane Austen retellings.
Right.
I've read one where, God, Sheila Masterson is really good at writing,
Hmm.
like strong, like different types of females,
Yeah.
and kind of bringing that idea into light. I'm
Right.
trying to think of what else I've read lately. But I think that there is a spot where I think it's really nice though to have this answer to sometimes like in more mainstream literature, you just get like females who don't do anything, like don't have any ability to advocate for themselves, or what's the famous, is it like the fridge situation? Is that what
Hmm.
it's called? Or they don't pass the Bechdel test. And I was looking through queries at one point, and there was an agent who actually said, if your female does not pass the Bechdel test, do not send it to me.
Wow.
Hmm.
Okay. I don't even know what that is. Like the best gel test?
Yeah, it has to do with is is a does the female characters, like one of their first conversations just have to do with how they relate to a man in terms of how they can be like objectified, or
Oh.
like how they are just like in a man's world in terms of they only serve as like a foil to a man, like they're lesser.
Mm.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't know. For me, like for me, like someone that's been in writing, like I know plenty of awesome female writers that can write the shit out of a story. Like two of my favorites are like Leigh Bardugo,
Uh-huh.
like Six
Sleep
of
Nine Cents.
Crows,
Love
and
Six Crows.
oh yeah, that was
That was a
even
good
the way
ride.
she wrote male characters was like I was like, yo, this a cold dude right here. I was like, oh my
Woo! Yeah,
when she wrote Kaz, I was like, "Oh my god!" Like, yo,
he's
that
fun.
is cold, And Victoria Schwab, sometimes VE
Yep.
Schwab,
Yup.
50 Shades of
Addie
Magic.
LaRue,
I was
and
like, "Yo, that's a that
yeah,
was a classic series." I'm like, "Yo, like
she knows
these
what
ones
she's
right here,
doing.
like, I don't
Yeah,
know."
they're
But
exciting.
anyway, yeah. But anyway, so how do you come up with your characters? Are
Yeah.
they spontaneous or meticulously planned?
Um, I mean, I tend to use the Enneagram a bit, which is
Mm-hmm.
like a personality type of system.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because it goes a bit into more like, all right, your basic fears, a bit more like how do you act when you are under stress? How do you act when you are really at the best of your game? And you can get it's just like a nice little way to stay on top of a character and how they might react in a new situation.
Okay, I got you. So do you do each individual character or do you
The
do
main
like
ones. I'll do the main ones. Yeah.
okay, got you.
Yeah. Cause I mean, I like a character driven plot.
Right.
Like,
Same.
yeah. I'm not like, and I mean, that's just how I am. I really like characters. I really like backstories. I really like getting to a new situation when I'm reading a book and being like, how is this person going to act? I know that this is
Right.
typically how they are, but are they going to change or not?
Right.
And
I don't
having
know. I mean, I
those
like
little,
character driven, because sometimes world building can be a bit much,
oh my gosh,
in terms of
mhm.
it's like because it's like you'll spend 5 or 10 pages just like setting up the world, but then for me, if I'm reading that, I'm just like, bro, like we're
Let's skip through.
okay. Like, okay, like you're describing the landscape. Okay, cool. Like what are people doing though? You
Right? That was like
know?
that was one of the fun things that I could do with the Western, is
Yeah.
that the Western, like if someone says to you, what does a Western town look like? Picture a Western town. You're like, dirt road, some
Yeah.
buildings, like you have this built up in your head already. So I
Yeah.
didn't have to work so hard at like trying to lay out like here's 5 pages about a sweeping landscape of desert scenery and cactuses,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. You could literally describe a Western town in a sentence. Oh, it was a
Yep.
small Western town that was 50% abandoned, you
Yep.
know. And then that was it. That's it.
There's a saloon over there, there's a brothel over there.
Yeah. And
There's a
then just
general store over there. Like, it's
right.
already in your head. You've seen it.
Right. Yeah. Like you watch any movies, like you're like, oh yeah, okay, I got you. And then
Yeah.
you go right into what people are doing, you know?
Yeah,
And
and you
that,
could play
you
and
know,
you could
just
play in those places without having to be like, there were so many things just lining the walls. And
yeah, uh-huh.
I don't know.
Definitely.
I get lost on some of that. Like that takes me sometimes like massive descriptions of things will take me out of the story and what's actually happening with the characters and the relationships and how that those arcs are moving. So
Yeah,
um
definitely.
and so like when I was writing Grace also, I was like very careful to try to do a lot of showing of like the world building of the magic rather
Yeah,
than the just being like, oh, this is how it works.
right. I got you. Definitely
Like,
got you.
I'm going to put you in a situation and show it to you.
Got you. Got you. So would you describe yourself more of a plotter or a pantser when it comes to writing?
I mean, I'm typically a quilter, which I guess follows from being a plotter a little bit. Yeah,
Okay.
apparently, have you know Diana Gabaldon who does Outlander?
Um, yeah, that's J.K.
She
Rowling's other name. So yeah.
no. Diana
Wait,
Gabaldon does Outlander and that whole
really?
series. And yeah, she's like
Hmm.
great friends with G.R. Martin. Um,
Okay.
she calls it quilting. You write scenes when you want to write them, and then you kind of piece them all together.
Okay, got you. Got you.
So,
Okay.
so I have an overarching idea of where it's going to go and how it's going to get there,
Okay.
but then the
Okay, I
little
got
things in between, I don't necessarily know.
uh,
Like the banter, I love banter, and if I start writing pages of banter, I'm just going to let it keep going.
right. I got you. Got you. Oh, duh. All right. So, what's the most difficult thing about writing, in your opinion?
Just finding the time, just
Okay.
getting like to be able to jump in and jump out. Like I was working for a bit on one story that was like really heavy with grief. And that's not fun to jump into that world all the time. I mean, it's fun to explore parts of it and the characters, but if I have 30 minutes to write, I've got 5 minutes to jump into that headspace. Like what I said, 20 minutes, 5 minutes jump in the headspace, 10 minutes to, to write, and then 5 more minutes to get my head back into gear to go deal with the rest of my day.
Right.
So, so like finding time in between here and there isn't always the easiest.
Okay. I got you. I got you.
You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it. I don't know. Like it's interesting when I ask that question because there's so many different authors, have different problems as it relates to writing, but
Yeah.
not writing itself. Like, I say that no author has a talent or creativity problem. They have a writing problem, as
Yeah.
in sitting down and writing.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like no one that like the creativity is there, the talent is there. That's on lock. It's
Yeah.
just
It's
sitting down and then just writing, getting the story out, It
yeah,
is
because
just
you never know. I mean, 1,600 words one day might take you an hour and a half, and 1,600 like words another day might take you 5 hours.
oh yeah, that's whew, 5 hours. It just took me back to college with that time frame. That's it. That's for a research paper.
I'm not
That's
saying
where you
it's
gotta go into
easy.
the book and get a quote and then write a page analyzing it. Just hey, the research paper needs to be 6 to 7 pages. I'm like, all right, I need 6 quotes. All right, let me take this one. Let me go to page 200, get this one. Let me pop here, get this one, this one, this one, and then I'll just BS the pages and stuff like that. Write a little thesis. You know,
Wham bam, we're done.
Yep, 5 hours. Oh yeah, and it's due Monday. So it's like, you know,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I used to do papers like, oh yeah, if it was due Monday, I'll do it like Saturday.
I think that's how college was. It was just
Yeah.
teaching you how to figure that out.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh yeah, you got a research paper due Monday. Figure it out. Like, and you gave it to us on Thursday. Like, what the, like, come on, bro.
I have plans this weekend, man.
All right.
Oh,
All right. So, what's the most unhinged thing you've written? In general, it doesn't have to be in your novel, but just like,
Grace is really unhinged. I have to tell you, Grace is super unhinged because I put a female into the main role, and then I would sometimes imagine what would like Clint Eastwood do in the situation.
so a female version of Clint Eastwood.
Mm. A little bit, but she talks a lot more. She shoots the guy's
Yeah.
crotch. She shoots a guy's crotch. She's like, I'm done with this. Her like best friend, he cheated her best friend out of money for a carpentry job. And she's like, get on the dragon, we're going. So they get on, and she just, oops, sorry.
She had a perfect game for that one.
She's really good aim. Really good aim. She's that. I mean, she is a society girl who goes west, essentially. And she's in her she's in her early to late 30s. So she doesn't care as much as like a 20 or something about like, she knows who she is. She doesn't have to have that much character development. So in terms of, oh, and then I found myself and this is who I am without my family. And this is who I am in this world. And no. She's kind of figured that out already. So, it's more about like, all right, who's important to me in this world? What do I need in this world versus what do I want? Like the first half of the book is what do I need versus what do I want? And she has no problem saying, like, she's like, I'm done just biting my tongue and everything. I'm just going to say whatever comes in my mouth. And she becomes a prostitute to like, for multiple reasons, but she has no problem doing it. And she has she has no problem talking about it and just unabashed.
All right. Sounds like a pirate.
Ooh, Grace would be a good pirate.
I don't know. It's like, the female version of Luffy off One Piece, just a straight savage. Like, yeah.
Except she's got a bit of heart. She's got a little bit of heart and she's very playful. Playful. Yeah. Very adventurous spirit, though. So, yeah, she could be a pirate.
Okay. That's funny. Oh, no. I'm still waiting for that story. I'm surprised no one has written about female pirates. Or maybe I just haven't seen it.
There have
I just haven't seen it. Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I can't name any off the top of my head, but I know that there have been a couple.
Yeah.
I know I've seen some that are more like spicy novels that have to do with a pirate.
Right.
Like Athena Rose, I think. I'm looking at my bookshelf right now. Right.
Pirate. Oh, man. Oh, yeah, that's one thing I need. I need to get a bookshelf, but not for this place. Not for this place, but
I love my bookshelf. I turned this entire bedroom into a bookshelf. And I'm like, I'm never moving from here unless I can get another library. It's got a full-on rolling ladder. This is just my space. So.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
To have as many books as it would take to have a rolling ladder is a goal.
There are quite a few.
So what's one thing about, being a writer that just drives you up a wall? Like, let's say you're in writing, you're writing and you're just like, oh, why? And you're just like, just.
I don't really get writer's block. I just get I get confused about what is going on with me. Like, okay, having trouble writing this right now. It's not writer's block. I know I can write. And I don't really understand like when other people are like, I have writer's block. I couldn't write for a while. It was like, it's more like, am I avoiding something? Am I, is something not exciting to me? Do I need to revisit like my entire plan of this book? Do I need to read this? Do I need to have someone read this for me and tell me like that it's exciting to them to read it?
Right.
Like where, so I guess I just kind of, I don't really like, I just don't understand. I like writing. I'm always daydreaming about something new. So.
Right.
I wish that my daydreams could like just like come out, like like Harry Potter when they put the wand,
the wand
and like pull it out and put it in the pensive. If I had that for my writing,
yeah,
it would be great. I'd be trying out novels. Yeah,
you just save it. Like I'm gonna save this one for later. Hold up, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one, and there's another one.
Right.
Wait a couple months. Like, all right, let me come back to.
Also, can I just mix these couple concepts together? And can you put this together?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh man. All right, so here's a fun question. So what was your favorite movie series of all time?
Movie series. I mean the Lord of the Rings series.
Yeah, you and
It
my
sounds so
fiance as
cliche, but
well.
it's really, I mean, I had trouble reading the books.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
Tolkien, yeah, that Tolkien is just like what,
he's,
this
well, you know,
size?
Gimli, son of Gloin, and then like you have two other people who have the GL names, and I'm like, you lost me.
Yeah.
But to be able to see it all, I can put it under.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite movie series. I've rewatched that a bunch.
Okay, gotcha.
I like Indiana Jones a lot, like the first three.
Okay.
I like how much of a smart ass he is.
Right.
Yeah, great movie.
I don't know, something about those snarky, sarcastic characters that everybody just loves. I mean,
The
I,
world could be burning down and they're just whipping it out, like laying out
yeah,
the harsh truths like in a real funny way.
yeah, definitely. All right, so we got a couple minutes left, so I want to give you the opportunity to kind of, promote yourself and, just put yourself out there, social media, if you have a physical copy of a book you want to show, you can do that. And, just let the
Dude,
world know Maggie Hoopis is here and she's
Maggie
going
Hoopis is here. Let's see. I think I do have a physical copy. It's a proof copy. We're fighting a good fight,
on.
but I
Right.
have a lovely physical copy.
Hey, okay.
I know there's dragons on the boots.
Okay.
It goes all around. It's lovely. I'm very excited about it. My copyright just came in today. Um, so that's fun. So I'm like been telling everybody, I'm like, my book's next to Thomas Jefferson in the Library of Congress. But yeah, I'm on Instagram all the time. I co-founded Indie Romantasy Reads with three other wonderful women. And we work a lot on hooking authors and readers up together and creating that relationship. And a lot of times we'll have authors come in and then they'll stay as readers.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah. And then, they'll continue to promote their work. They'll find betas sometimes like, we've made friends with people have made friends within the group and, recommending other books, and it's just very supportive. So we do that once a month. We do 2 books a month.
Okay.
So
Nice.
yeah, yeah. And and then we'll do like the authors. We meet with the authors then.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's a lot of
Well,
fun. We do
uh,
that. And then, yeah, Grace is coming out March 25th. It's dropping. It will be on Amazon. It's fighting the good fight right now. You can pre-order it on KU, or well, you can pre-order it on KDP, and then it'll
right.
be on KU. You can pre-order through my website, maggiehoopis.com. In April, I will be at the Flame and Fantasy Ball in Kansas City. I'm signing
Okay.
Grace. And I will be around at a couple other events where I'm not like an attending author, where I just happen to be. So if someone
Gotcha.
decides like I'm going to buy your book off Amazon, bring it around, and you can check out my website and I'll be around. I'm on my Insta a lot. Like
Yeah.
I love when people, I think one of the greatest things about being an indie author is that you get immediate feedback from people. Like it's just
Right.
fun. People will slide into your DMs and be like, how could you do this?
Yeah. I haven't gotten that yet, but hey.
Look at
Thank
that.
you. Yeah.
I think a lot of readers are like afraid to do it with authors, and they shouldn't be.
Right.
Like,
Good. I mean, we're normal people, so
right, we're reading some of the same stuff that you are, like when we're not writing.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, I like to thank you for, coming down and coming down east. Sorry, I'm now on the West Coast. Yeah.
Well,
uh,
thank you so much for having me. This has been good fun to talk to you.
oh yeah, definitely. Um, you know, then you're the second of, a third interview that, I'm gonna have. Hopefully, we can finish off the trifecta. Um, and
Good
yeah,
deal.
for the would-be crowd out there, see you guys in the next one. And Maggie, I'll see you on the flip side. If there's anything you need, don't hesitate to reach out. I'll be glad to help you on your writing journey. And, I'm open to collaborations, anything like that. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, feel free to reach out.
we'll be a stranger.
All righty.
All right, have a good one.
All righty.